All right, we'll get this meeting started. It's great to see everyone here tonight. I think we got a good meeting tonight, some special things to talk about. So, again, welcome, and we'll get started with our opening prayer by Vice Mayor Adam Dixon.
Let us all pray. Dear God, we always want to come before you with a thankful heart. You've done so much. You continue to do so much, and you've made promises that you will continue to do. As a matter of fact, you've said, Lord, that there's no good thing that you would withhold from us. And so, God, we're grateful people. We thank you in every situation. God, even in turmoil and strife and adversity and problems, we still have a reason to thank you because you've been so benevolent, you've been so kind, you've been so thoughtful to us and our condition. You've been merciful. God, you've been loving, and we thank you for that. God, we look on the TV and we see, Lord, situations all around the world. And God, it should alert us that there but for your grace we go. And so, God, as people are struggling and suffering and dealing with all manner of issues, we extend our prayers, Lord God. We ask you, Lord God, to intervene, watch, cover, protect, heal, uplift. God, we ask that you watch our neighbors next door to us, down the street from us, Lord God, dealing with situations, God, we don't know, we don't understand, we don't grasp, but God, we know that you know, and we ask, God, that you intervene and that you help. And God, do also ask that while we are up and about and have some health and strength, let us be light, let us be salt, let us help somebody, let us do what we can, God, to make our neighborhoods, our homes, God, our families, God, our community just a little bit better, a little bit stronger. God, ask that you continue to guide these servants in our town. God, ask that you continue to strengthen them and keep them and give them a heart, joyful heart to want to serve and do what they do best. God, we ask this all in your name. Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Adam. Ruth, who do you have to lead the pledge tonight?
Rick Newell.
All right.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, Madam Recorder, roll call, please.
Mayor Best.
Here.
Alderman Causey.
Here.
Alderman Countermine.
Here.
Alderman Dixon.
Here.
Alderman Wolf.
All right, yeah, Kelly's got a little family vacation that I think we can accomplish it tonight. We'll move into our consent agenda. Alderman, is anything on there you wish to pull and discuss? If not, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve, Mayor.
Motion to approve from Adam Dixon. Got a second from Mr. Countermine. Any discussion?
Mayor, are we on
Yes.
consent?
Yes.
Sorry, I wasn't mapping. I just wanted to make a point of information on 9B for Parks and Recreation Director.
Yep.
We had changed from grade 18 to grade 19, but the pay stays the same. I just want to make that point.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. And in that consent agenda, a lot of our committee reports and supervisor reports that we get to read. And got the old snow hut agreement again down there at Wetlands, so that'll make the kids happy there. And hired a new park and rec director. Really excited about this. Chris Gudera. He graduated from David Crockett High School, coaching the soccer team down there right now, doing an outstanding job at that. And got his sports management degree, I think, from East Tennessee State, and a master's from Arkansas State. So I think we hit a home run there with Chris. So excited about getting him started with us. And we got a new water treatment plant director. And of course, we've got big plans on with a new plant getting developed here in the next couple of years. So having somebody like Michael Kinchelow coming on board, he's got 30 years of experience, 25 years with Mountain City. So I think we hit a home run there too. Somebody to really step right in and help us develop this new treatment plant.
Mayor, it's Andy. Huh? Thank you.
Oh, did I get it wrong? Who was I reading?
Our interim.
Okay, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, now we move into our regular agenda. I got our financial report. Alderman, anything you want to discuss there? If not, I'll turn it over to our recorder. Janet, you want to give us a good report?
I have a good report. I'll keep it brief. As far as the financials, everything is right on track. Did have a meeting with the water sewer director and his staff this morning, and they're doing a great job keeping everything right in the middle of the road where it should be. And so we reviewed a few things there. Revenues are on track for the year. As far as the general fund, we always like to hear about the sales tax. So the sales tax for February this year as compared to February of last year is up 9.72%. The reason I'm reporting on February is there's a 2-month lag. We just saw February sales tax come into us during the month of April. As far as year to date, we're up 6.4% year to date. So, you know, the more activity we have in the community, and I know it gets busy, but it also feeds the local economy when people are spending their money here. So spend local.
Absolutely. All right, thank you, Janet. And the good thing about our sales tax, this year, it's on top of some great numbers last year and even great numbers the year before that. So to be able to continue to have increases year after year just shows that people are shopping local, and our entrepreneurs and business owners here are doing a lot of things right. So it's healthy growth. So love to see that. Allows us to do a lot more things. And along that line, in building permits, you like to see some growth in that area. And so far for the year 2024, we've had over $10 million in projects here in Jonesborough, and that's on against, at this same period, a little over $6 million last year. So still growth happening out there, and I know sometimes that affects our traffic, so we're trying to stay in front of that as much as we can, and got plans to fix some of those things here in the near future, but still financially, Jonesboro is in really good shape. Alderman, anything? If not, I'll take a motion to approve the financial report.
So moved.
Got a motion to approve from Alderman Causey.
Second.
Got a second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Now we'll move into communications from myself, and we got some important things tonight. I got a couple of proclamations for Miss Historic Jonesboro and Miss Teen Historic Jonesboro, but first, I want to do our Employee of the Month, and I think Mitchell's going to show us a little video here we'd like for everybody to watch. As he gets that ready, I'm going to step down front. Got some behind you and on the sides.
Hey man. Hey man. Hey, K92, can you send medical this way? I don't know. Can you unlock that door right there? She still breathing? Huh?
You got Narcan on you?
I do.
Should be
Huh?
Looking at that, I need to get OD on something.
Right.
Nothing.
Nothing?
No
You got-
pulse. No pulse. No breathing.
Get him out. Start CPR. When does see him last?
Just, I don't know, I ain't make contact him.
I'll grab a AED.
Alright. How can I help you?
Tag out, okay?
You got any breathing? He's warm.
Page 1.
You guys use this more?
Tag out.
Huh?
Are you guys quicker with this who use it more?
I don't know. Come on. Come on, come on.
You hook it up?
Come on, come on. Come on, buddy.
Come on.
Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy.
There he goes.
Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on, big guy.
Clear.
Unresponsive, not breathing, make sure that.
He's breathing now.
Huh? He's breathing now.
He's got shallow breathing.
He's got shallow breathing now, yeah.
Grab my PDA.
Is that gonna hit him or not? No, I said it's done on All right,
It's done.
pick up CPR again.
1 minute, 45 seconds until analysis will resume.
It's done. It's not gonna take it. Keep on CPR. Watch yourself. Watch yourself. Watch yourself. Watch yourself. We didn't have any pulse.
1 minute, 30 seconds until analysis will resume.
Yep. He's gasping now. We may have pulse. We got some breathing.
1 minute, 15 seconds until analysis will resume.
He's got pulses.
Okay.
Good.
We'll slide this under him just in case.
How can we help you?
Grab his arms. Slide him out.
What's that?
Thank you. So our employee of the month, Zachary Bruton and Adam Capu. I always say we're blessed by the officers we have here in town, and this is just a tremendous example of that. I don't know if people can go through their whole life and really have the chance to save someone else's life, and you guys certainly did that for this gentleman. I'll do this for him. I appreciate that. What's your guys' thoughts on that there? That's your first life you saved, or? Yeah.
Maybe the other two officers that was there are here with us tonight too.
Yeah, we had 4 on the scene there. Did you guys expect that when you pulled up there? What was your first thought? I didn't know what.
Come on up here. Come on up.
We're just flying up there.
Yeah. proclamation, but you get a key to the town of Jonesborough.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Not many people have those. We're still waiting on them. That's what we have to do.
You gotta find the door that it works for.
That's right. So whereas Miss Historic Jonesboro Scholarship Pageant is a Miss America preliminary, and whereas Miss America Scholarship Program represents the largest single source of scholarships for young ladies of this nation, and whereas Alexis Pagula was crowned Miss Historic Jonesboro 2024 at the annual Miss Jonesboro pageant, thereby becoming the official ambassador of the Tennessee's oldest town. And whereas Alexis Pagula has established herself as an outstanding role model for young people and has obtained her BS of Business with a minor in biology, is currently a business owner, business development representative for Unlock Health, and desires to work toward obtaining an MBA with a concentration in healthcare. You're gonna be busy. And whereas Alexis Pagula has chosen twice the Heart Techniques for Women Incorporating Cardiac Education as her social impact initiative. You had a little bit of experience that tonight.
Exactly.
Wow. Whereas the town of Jonesboro and its citizens greatly appreciate the individual sacrifice and dedication that Ms. Pagula is and will be showing in representing and promoting her platform and her town. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this proclamation be issued in honor of Alexis Pagula, Miss Historic Jonesboro 2024, in recognition of her many achievements and accomplishments. Be it also proclaimed that Alexis Pagula is hereby an honorary citizen of the town of Jonesboro. The responsibilities there, that she will be given the key to her town and that she is officially invited to represent Jonesboro at all town functions. Be it further proclaimed that Alexis Pagula be accorded the sincerest congratulations and best wishes in the Miss Tennessee pageant and beyond from the Board of Mayor and Aldermen and the citizens of Jonesboro.
Thank you so much.
You want to tell us about
My CSI is you have to have a social impact initiative, and mine is Twice the Heart. So when I was 12, I was diagnosed with a cardiac arrhythmia and fell in love with just cardiology as a whole. And CPR education is something that I am super passionate about. I just re-upped my certification in CPR and BLS. And I mean, it's not that easy when you're in that position, but learning it is so simple. Clearly, when it's executed correctly, AEDs tell you what to do. So that's why it's so important to me. 73% of at-home cardiac arrests, unfortunately, end in a loss of life because people aren't prepared and they don't know CPR. So that's my passion, and that's really what I'm here to do. And thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck. All right, I'll give you this, we'll not forget this. We've also got Miss Historic Jonesboro Team 2024, Matrix Grace Shields. Congratulations. Whereas Mabry Grace Shields was crowned Miss Historic Jonesboro Team 2024 at the annual Miss Historic Jonesboro pageant. And whereas Mabry Grace Shields has established herself as an outstanding role model for young people and is a student at Halls Middle School. And whereas Mabry Grace Shields has chosen See Your Strength as her social impact initiative to reach people in ways to develop a positive mindset and build fortitude in their own health through 3 areas of their lives: self-care, expression, and environment. And whereas the town of Jonesboro and its citizens greatly appreciate the individual sacrifice and dedication that Ms. Shields is and will be showing in representing and promoting her platform and the town of Jonesboro. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this proclamation be issued in honor of Mabry Grace Shields, Miss Historic Jonesboro Team 2024, in recognition of her achievements and accomplishments, and be accorded the sincerest congratulations and best wishes from the Board of Mayor and Aldermen and the citizens of the town of Jonesboro. May Mabry Grace Shields continue to be blessed in whatever endeavors she may undertake. You want to tell us a little bit about your initiative?
My community service initiative is called See Your Strength, and it is inspired by my oldest brother Maddox, who has Down syndrome, my mother, who was diagnosed with cancer last year, and my grandmother, who has PTSD from the Vietnam War. And it's to help people realize that they can
you a key to the city also. You all can search together to find that, where it goes. Thank you. Here's your card. There's probably a great clubhouse somewhere where everybody's got those keys are all together having a good time.
That's right.
We've actually moved to a lot of digital pads. We might have to start giving them digital pads.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a bad joke. Sounded good in my mind.
Well, just one more thing for me. Music on the Square started off with a bang with Trey Hensley. It was great to have great weather for that, and had a huge turnout for him. And then we followed that up the next Friday. We didn't get any rain, and Cruz Contreras was there. Another good crowd. So I think we're looking forward to a great season there with Music on the Square, and people enjoy that. And just a blessing to have that here in the town of Jonesborough. And that's all I've got. Now we'll move into citizens' comments. We've got a couple of people signed in there. Ruth, you want to get up first and give your name and address, I guess? If you're a frequent visitor, we should have that on speed.
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah, I'm Ruth Verhage. I'm here tonight representing Jonesborough Paws and Blue. I wanted to invite all of you and all of you in the audience to come on the 25th of May to our demonstration competition. We'll have the police canines there, and we're adding this year, if you have a pet that you would like to put in a competition, we're gonna have a special competition for people's pets. So I think it's gonna be a fun day. It started at 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday the 25th, and we'll be up at the football field at the old middle school again. So come and enjoy.
That sounds like fun.
I think it will be. Zach will be there again with hamburgers and hot dogs.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Both of those are about as good as you can get. I
think you're right.
hadn't had a hot dog in forever until I had one up there the last time, and it was delicious. Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you, Ruth.
All right, Allison, you're up next.
Thank you, sir. I'm here tonight as the regent of the Jonesborough chapter, State of Franklin chapter of the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution. And thank you, Alderman Dixon, for that prayer. Before we started this evening, Ruth and I were talking about so many things going on, and you just really were uplifting to us and reminder what a privilege it is to be of service. And I thank you for that, as well as this young lady, that we can always do more. So I'm here tonight to bring you greetings from the DAR State Conference that was held in Franklin, Tennessee in April, really just to share with you that once again, we little State of Franklin chapter, which is a very small chapter in the state, was #1 in the Appalachian District, which is 19 chapters that goes all the way down to Chattanooga, of flag retirement. And again, we were #1 in the state of Tennessee, which is 95 chapters throughout the state of Tennessee. Nobody retires more flags with respect than the town of Jonesborough. And we're so grateful for the partnership that we have with different organizations. And just to kind of put a bee in your bonnet with flag etiquette, there is an issue that's going on with Boy Scouts and other organizations about how to properly retire flags with fire when they may have something other than cotton in them. So we may see a decline in that, and we may see a change in how flags are retired. So I would just put that out there since we have so many flags in our town. And then the other thing was also at the state conference, our chapter and the town of Jonesborough was referenced for its memorial marker last May for the two patriots, the Broyles brothers, who came across the ridge after the Treaty of Paris was signed and founded the mill. So I think it's really good for us to know that the message of what this town was founded on is shared elsewhere. So I'll be coming back to share with you the bell ringing events in September, which is September 13th through 15th. And since the town and the Heritage Alliance will have a new executive director, we expect the chapter to take the laboring oar on all of the permits and everything that we've always relied on Ann Mason with. But before then, next month on Flag Day, and Flag Day is always held on June 14th, we will have the 3rd annual Flag Day event, which will be at noon at the town hall. Ruth Verhage has made the arrangements and is making the arrangements with the town to have it on the little trifold flyer that you see in restaurants. We're going to continue with the same theme of having people address what the flag means to them. Washington County Mayor Joe Grandy, who's come every year, though he hasn't been on the program, will be telling us what the flag means to him. And of course, he has the county flag outside his office waving. And we also expect there's a young man who asked if he could sing the national anthem as well as share with us the story of its history. Thank you so much. I hope you'll attend.
Thank you, Allison.
Was that the time limit?
It's either that or my dinner just is ready.
Maybe it was my pacemaker.
That joke worked.
Everybody's trying to scare me today.
All right, thank you all for that. Now we'll move into Alderman communications. Alderman, anything you want to share or ask?
I'm good.
Terry?
I want to thank everybody. On Saturday, we had the celebration of the opening of the Storybook Trail, and there is a little free library up there above, behind in the Jimmy Neal Smith Park, and it was a really, really good event, and I thank Rachel for helping with that, and Glenn for helping to make it happen. So if you haven't been up behind in the Jimmy Neal Smith Park, I encourage you to do that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Terry. Adam, anything?
No, sir.
All right. We'll move into town attorney comments. Jim, you got anything for us?
No report this evening, Mayor.
Oh, wow, we like that. All right. All right, now we'll move into old business. First item there is discussion and possible action concerning approval of the fee schedule proposed by D&D Easement Service for the 24-inch water transmission line upgrade project. So that's part of our water system improvement plans. Alderman, anything there that you want to discuss? Things appear to be in order.
So are we ready to start doing that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Move to approve.
Got a motion to approve from Alderman Countermine,
Second.
second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
And Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. That's all our old business. Now we'll move into some new business. Discussion and possible action concerning approval of an interlocal agreement with the Washington County Board of Education. And that's just for them to do some mowing and maintenance, minor maintenance for us out there at Boones Creek. It gets relieves us of those duties. Any discussion there, Alderman? If not, I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion to approve from Alderman Causey,
Second, Mayor.
second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Yeah, moving right along, discussion and possible action concerning approval of a resolution authorizing the town of Jonesborough to apply for the 2024 Recreational Trails Program funds. And we got a good grant from the state here recently, and this is a different one. I appreciate Rachel's work on this. Alderman, you got any questions about this? I know it's going to be we're fortunate enough to get that. It's like an 80-20, and certainly the community is always excited about this.
It was well attended. How many people do you think came, Rachel?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Which is very good.
yep,
Shows community interest.
absolutely. All right, I'll take a motion.
So move.
A motion from Alderman Countermine.
Second.
Got a second from Alderman Causey. All right, any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Just hope we get that little grant, and we've tied up the whole little town there, and then trails, and connected these little parks and these neighborhoods. That's great.
Transform the whole town.
Absolutely. The state has been very good to the town of Jonesborough, so we got to make sure we continue to be good to the state.
Yep.
All right, next item, discussion and possible action concerning employee health insurance plan for fiscal year 2024-25. Sounds like the team here negotiated a good plan with I guess nowadays, a great small increase of 4.47%, and at today's times, that's outstanding, actually. Alderman, you got any questions about this?
The increase on the employees' pay, would that be when they get their increase July 1? Can we make it that way? Or does it have to be June?
So the answer would be, we would have to cover the gap if we waited to July 1. If the board approved it that way, then we would just, basically the first 30 days, we would pay the difference, and then July 1.
Doesn't it usually run fiscal year?
So our insurance runs June 1.
It used to be when they got their increases, when this increase went, back in my historical knowledge, but it's been changed the last few years. But I think it would be good for the employees not to have the increase until we do give them their increase in pay. That's just my thought.
How much would it cost?
That's a mathematical equation. I'll turn to my calculator. Basically, you're looking at a month of 4.47 times.
I'm thinking 40 bucks.
Probably 100 and.
Times their employees. I'm gonna say 30.
Per student, per
Let's
student.
just-
Per employee. Shows you what I can do.
Total increase per month total is only $4,000.
Yeah.
So,
We have to pay for May and June?
it's about $1,000.
Yeah.
It would just be that, just June for that 30 days, and then July would hit when our new pay hits, so it'd be an extra 1,000.
So can we get a recommendation to approve the Blue Cross plan with the cost to the employees increasing on July the 1st? Is that,
I'll make that motion.
Is there a way in the future so that they could?
We'd have to change we'd have to go to the carrier and change our year, our start.
just when y'all bring back the next one,
Yeah.
just bring it back and say July 1st, and let's make it.
Yeah.
July 1st for the increase.
Yeah, always bring
Yeah.
it back July 1st.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this predates, but several years ago, we were doing July 1 to June 30 with our fiscal year. The issue is there was always angst about what the increase in the health insurance was gonna be, and so that was why it was changed to June 1 to May 31. So as we were doing our budget processes and going through establishing a budget, we knew then what those insurance increases was gonna be, so it could be budgeted into the new fiscal year.
That's good, that's good. All right, well, we got a motion to approve with the change to July the 1st from Alderman Causey.
Second.
Second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey. Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
All right, motion was approved. All right. Thank you, Virginia. Now we'll move into discussion and possible action concerning approval of the food bids and cafe pricing for Wetlands Water Park this year. And you saw the new pricing come in there. And good old inflation is biting everybody. So things appear to be in order. So I'll take a motion.
Move to approve, Mayor.
Motion to approve from Alderman Dixon.
Second.
A second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, discussion and possible action concerning approval to purchase equipment for solid waste department. And as you can see, quite a few needs in there. Jim, can we do all four of these recommendations together?
Yes, you can, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Alderman, as you can see, there's four recommendations. We can take them all together if you agree with all four.
Move to approve.
A motion to approve from Alderman Countermine.
Second.
Second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right. Motion carried. That's to get us some, I guess, some new updated garbage trucks. So they're not cheap. All right. Next, we got a bunch of events here. So some good discussion, I think, that we need to have about that. But discussion and possible action concerning special event application requests. The first one we got is Jeeps on Main. Sounds like a great event. Glenn, you want to talk about that? Is there anything in there,
Sure.
any issues? Are we good to go with this?
Sure. So overall, as you can tell, that we have many special events around town, and some of them actually had a run over at the schools. So that was a
Yeah.
different venue, but it's still stretching our support services, challenging them, and so we're learning from those different events that we have going on to be bigger and better on them. But just to say that special events are escalating. As you can see, there's 4 more today. But to go over them, I'll try and hit them each individually and be as exhaustive as I can. As far as the Jeeps on Main, the insurance certificate needed to be updated. It was not up to date at the time of submittal. Did receive a copy of that today that names that event as part of an additional insured to the town of Jonesborough, or names town of Jonesborough as an additional insured. But again, it was not reviewed by myself until this afternoon, and not reviewed by the town attorney as part of the packet. As far as the difference that I'll be talking about different events is whether or not there's conflicts or no conflicts. This one is happening on a holiday, Labor Day, September 2nd. And as far as conflicts with other special events, there are none that we recognize at this time.
Okay. All right. So what's your pleasure there, Alderman? Sounds like a good event.
I would like to say that I've said it numerous times, and I've talked to Mr. Rosenoff, that these special events, when they're submitted, they need to be submitted with everything accurately. The insurance, when it was submitted that it was for Star Wars on the insurance form, so apparently the form was just pulled from another event. I think we need to, if they don't have everything here, we need to defer until we do have the accurate.
Yeah, one
And I
thing-
know Mr. Rosenoff has it right now,
Yeah,
but,
and I
you know.
I agree. I think in talking to internal staff, you can see as far as much business as we're doing on the agenda, Mayor. When it came to the special events and looking at what was provided, what wasn't provided, and have to go back and forth, it actually took a lot more time, believe it or not, on trying to wrangle the special events. And the best due process I can provide to the board is if it's insufficient or deficient, then my recommendation for those, in the future should be to to, deny or
We just don't put them
table.
on, don't put them on the agenda until they're right.
I think the problem with that is that it may be best that the application is deficient, and I report that to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, let them vote based on it being deficient and turn it down.
I guess,
Versus administratively me just holding on to it, which would not be a very good part of, as far as the due process of applications.
I guess my thought going forward with all the events that we have, to me, I think at some point, they need to get filtered through our event coordinator and through Cameo's department of marketing, let those guys make sure the dates all line up right, and those things, that the event coordinator make sure those requirements are met before they actually come to you. And
Yeah, it should come to me to where it's all in
all
order,
done.
and if it's not in order, then my recommendation would be to deny.
so I think we,
Is there a problem if they get insurance and then we don't approve the event? Can you just cancel the insurance, or they would be out money because they got insurance before they knew we were gonna have the event?
The best process is when they submit the insurance is required to be submitted prior to the meeting as part of the application. So if it's current insurance for that event and the date, then when it's part of the packet, at least when it goes to the alderman, but in particular the town attorney who's looking at indemnification, hold harmless, and the insurance, it's, whether we check the box off or not, Mr. Wheeler would have the ability to review these, make sure there was, nothing wrong with it, maybe even catch something, but we have a chance to actually follow through with it if there was I'm just saying dot the I and cross the T, but at this particular time, what I have in front of me was this afternoon, and there was no time to disseminate that to the town attorney. So it,
That's not what I mean.
okay.
If they had to pay money for the insurance.
Yeah, I don't know if they pay, they're here, I don't know if they pay
Then
extra.
we did not improve it, would they be
Yeah.
out the money and they had to pay for the insurance?
Do you T or Jeff, do you?
Yeah, the insurance, with, the company is May to May, so the insurance certificate for the Star Wars event, there was a lapse there, the insurance was in the process of being.
Sure, but if you, when you get your insurance, it's from May, let's say, right now it's through May of 2025. If you have, in this next year, 8 special events, your insurance company, do they charge you additional fees to put Town of Jonesborough as an additional insured and add that event?
I think it has to exceed 12 events.
Oh,
Okay,
that's good.
and then they would, I guess, start charging additional fees for that, okay.
So
So
because
what
that's
I was
a
talking
Great
about,
one apply.
there's not a date.
Unless they hit the beyond 12 or more.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
That's a good question.
All right.
So does this have to be an internal thing, or should the board, direct town staff that there needs to be kind of like a punch list before?
I mean, I'd have to say that I already know that it needs to be dot the i's and cross the t's, and so internally we know what to do, and internally, again, translating to the agenda presentation as far as town administrator is to reflect if it's deficient or incomplete, then the recommendation would be to deny. And if something comes up that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen thinks that it ought to be changed or different action, then I think that would be up to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. But staff knows what needs to be included in the packet to come to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
And there's nothing wrong with having this filtered through your event coordinator.
I think honestly, I was talking to Ms. Freeman and just to create a cheat sheet of these top 10 things that are required to have should be sufficient, whether or not it's marketing staff or just with Dawn, especially if when we fill the other vacant position. I don't see an issue with.
Sounds like things are in order for this one now.
For
Alderman,
these
what's your?
four, they're all 4 okay?
No, we're gonna take them one at a time.
Jeep's on me.
I want to say I am not against events, but in the forms that are sent out or given to the event person, it shows exactly what they need and what needs to be sent back to the board. I think that, and I know Mr. Rosenoff has it, but has Mr. Withers seen it yet? You know, I think that we need to defer anything unless the town attorney can sit here and say, yes, it's good for the town. But that's just my opinion.
Jim, what's your thought on this, since I guess the insurance is in place now, but it's
Well,
not something you've had a chance to review?
I have not, I cannot say it's in place, I have not seen
Okay,
it.
okay. All right.
And normally, that is something I review.
Who do you get it from?
Town staff.
It'll be part of
But you have
the
a,
complete
you know,
packet.
you need to understand, I'm a part-time town attorney. You don't have a full-time staff member down here on the legal staff. So if they submit it to me the day of the meeting, I may or may not get to look at it. I think it's a mistake for you to be trying to do this with me trying to, you know, my job is to make sure it's correct, and it's hard to do that if you're looking at it at the meeting, which I haven't even looked at it at the meeting tonight. So, I do think it's reason that you have a threshold date. Now, you've got it 90 days, and that could be changed, but you know, there needs to be some lead time, for the town staff to get this stuff together and get it, you know, reviewed.
Okay.
But you know, that's, all I can say on this one is I have not seen the insurance at all.
All right, do we need a motion to defer this? Want to do that? Or anybody want to make a motion to approve, one or the other?
If I'm just curious, T, would you still have enough time if it was deferred to publicize and promote, and if we came back and if we approved next month?
Well, I think under the circumstances, the problem would be is, since it's Geeks on Main, and we talked to Chief Rice about using Main Street on Labor Day Monday, which is a holiday, the courthouse will be closed and all, that we would have Jeeps parked up and down Main Street, so we would request road closure, and we know that has to be done 90 days in advance. And so if it's deferred till next month,
I still got time.
we would
can
be
do it now.
bumped up against that time frame as far as request for the road closure.
Well, it's been requested now, though, so that means you've met the 90 days before the event. You just, it's, you know, you're, so that's not an issue. You've already submitted your application.
So Mayor, I'll move to defer based on the fact that it's been submitted.
Got a motion to defer this to our next meeting. That might or might not be the 1st of June. I guess it would, but we don't have a called meeting coming up or anything, do we?
Not yet.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry.
All right, so
That
we've got a
mean-
motion to
That mean I
defer.
know something I
Second.
don't.
Got a second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion? All right, call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey.
Ah.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right. Motion carried. We'll get that insurance looked over and knock that out, so. All right, we'll move into the next one. It's the town-wide yard sale. Actually, that's number 3. I skipped Olympics on Main. I had that one out somewhere here. Here it is.
So Mayor, same thing on insurance on this one as well. And the other area of concern for the Olympics on Main is that road closure will conflict with the farmer's market that ends at 1 p.m. At times, they might end before 1. But the farmer's market has already been approved by the BMA. The request for street closure for this one is at 9 a.m. So, again, two things. One is insurance wasn't completed on time, and the conflict with the existing special event that's farmer's market.
And Alderman, what's your thoughts on that? We don't need the conflict there, which that might or might not be able to work out. Just the farmer's market's more towards the rear of the area, but the time's probably more than anything. But just need to be deferred as well, since the insurance is not there anyway.
I would recommend
I would say that.
same.
So, gonna do that again, Adam.
move to defer.
Got a motion to approve or defer this action to our next meeting due to the insurance as the first one. Can we get a second on that?
Second.
A second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Kettermeyer.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
All right. Motion carried. It's probably on the 7F with the town-wide yard sales. Probably gonna be the same thing, right? Ms. Jansen?
Same thing as far as insurance, a couple other things to think about in the, if you're looking at deferring on this one. Also that the public safety is obligated to the 5K glow run on that same day, but in the evening. Also, farmer's market is going on in the morning as well for that date, so.
This thing had a huge crowd, I think, did it? Draw a lot of
Yeah,
people,
the-
a lot of traffic actually too, I think.
Yeah, and can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
And I've spoken with Chief Rice, and I'm the one that submitted the Olympics and the yard sale, and I'm always very reluctant to request for road closure. And I kind of believe both of those should be without road closure. On the yard sale, it's been both for years past. And I think there's some things that we can do downtown that might help the traffic situation, like the Festival in Progress lights, a 5-mile-per-hour zone downtown. So as a merchant, somebody that submits the paperwork, I'm just very reluctant to request a road closure.
Okay.
Sometimes it can, and I agree that, you err on the side of public safety, and I'm just reluctant to do that. So if there's a way that those two could be, that could work without road closure, I think our merchant group would be for it, working with the police of the town. So I guess what I'm saying is, I don't know what the answer is on road closures. I don't know what, if we're expecting 500 people, do we request road closure, what that magic number is?
And weather probably matters a little bit there too, and the glow run, we close the street for that. What time does that close? Okay, well, I guess we're gonna defer this anyway before the insurance. That's probably something to discuss. I think if the speed there is slower, that certainly helps. It's kinda good not to be closing Main Street all the time. We get, complaints about that, and we need to be able to say no to closing Main Street at times. So let's just defer this one and then talk that through. If we don't have to close the street, that solves the whole issue with farmer's market and the glow run and everything else.
I think one of the things with the road closure is how many kids. Is this an event that's gonna draw a lot of kids? Because that's when you really want the safety to be there, cause kids, some of the events we've had without closure, the next year we have them because there were so many kids and they're going across the street. And so, do you have a feeling for what your clientele is gonna be?
Yard sale would be mostly adults. The Olympics on Main, I think will be equivalent to the Easter event. And I mean, kid-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I should say, I foresee that as a family event.
Yeah.
It's the first time you've had it though, right?
This will be the first.
So sometimes the first ones, kinda take a little while to get going, but.
And I believe that Easter event, the road was open, but in talking with Amber, after that, I think we both agreed that maybe that should have been.
They should have been,
closed
yeah.
based on the
Turnout.
crowd. So it's one of those.
And the
things.
number of kids.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about like the yard sale and in my history of being here is, as the sidewalks are your main trafficked area, is we also have things like light poles. We have things like the garbage receptacles. We've got planters. We've got other obstructions within that. I say obstruction. We have other amenities within the sidewalk. So and then you have the vendors, let's say, or the people selling, and so it starts to constrict the sidewalk. So in times past, is occasionally someone might have to kind of step off the sidewalk and potentially to get by folks and get back onto the sidewalk. And so that's where I think what we've heard a couple of years ago was some of the issues that go on is the traffic as far as spilling over a little bit into the road off the sidewalk versus people just running back and forth. And Chief Rice might have
Yeah, Matt,
a different
what's your
take
thought?
on it from, it's been, I think it was a couple years ago on the townwide yard sale.
The one thing with the town is it's growing, and it's not just people, it's cars.
Yeah.
So all those cars have to go somewhere. You know, if they get in here, they can't be bottlenecked up and not be able to leave. The problem with street closures now on Main Street compared to where they were a couple years ago is we're putting all that traffic on Woodrow Avenue, Second Avenue, you know, all those side streets. It's not set up for the volume of traffic that we're expecting to carry. So I think that from my perspective, you know, we really need to take a strong look at some of these special events and say, hey, we've got a park here that would be acceptable for that special event. We've got Lincoln Park up here with a great amphitheater, plenty of parking up there. Some of those smaller events we need to start looking at other locations than just Main Street. I don't think we can continue to put every special event that has a request in that 2 or 3 block section and then try to deal with the consequences of the traffic afterwards. You know, it's the point got brought up of people stepping off the sidewalk. We've created a welcoming atmosphere here in Jonesborough where we have a lot of special events and we want the families to come out. So there's a lot of times that those people come to town with the expectation that the street's closed and pay no attention to whether it is or whether it isn't. So, you know, there's obviously a concern there for the safety part of it. So I don't know that there's a correct answer. You know, we hope, or the event, you know, people that are requesting these events, you know, will give us the information that they have that there's gonna be, you know, 500 people or 1,000 people. And that's really just an estimated guess from what I can see from the events that we've done in the past. But along with that, you know, if it's a pretty day, they may be saying that there's gonna be 250 people there and there ends up being 5,000 people.
Yeah.
Weather dictates a lot of that. You know, we had May the 4th, which last year was a huge, this year not so much, but the weather affected that. We stayed over basically had the street closed from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. You know, we had a movie after that event. There was 4 people at that movie.
Yeah.
You know, while 4 people watched the movie, my guys who had already worked a 12-and-a-half-hour day are still there working, waiting to open the street up.
Yeah.
The street department, those guys are still there from 11 o'clock in the morning, waiting to reopen the street. So I think from my perspective anyway, and I'm sure with Malcolm's perspective too, that we probably need to start looking at these special events from a different angle of how we can accommodate them, but not necessarily put them in the same package that they've been in for the last, you know, 10 or 15 years, and start looking at other options of where we put some of these events and how we handle the event.
Very good.
Yeah, and another thing that, talking to Chief Rice is, I'm trying not to butcher this, but basically a post-event action.
Yeah, what we've done within the police department is we started this year, when an officer's assigned an event, they actually do a report after the event. It's called an after-action report for a special event. It gives us the ability to look at what kind of crowds we had, what kind of issues we may have had, what kind of traffic volumes that we had, so that when next year an event comes along, obviously we can't control the weather, but it gives us a little more insight on what issues we experienced from the year before, things that may come into play, you know, in the following year, trying to do the same event, some ways to improve our staffing levels, you know, so that we'll have that information available post-event, you know, for the board to see. So kind of what our plan is on the monthly reports that you get from us, those previous months worth of special events that we've had that y'all have approved, to be able to see what actually transpired. You know, other than if you come down and see the event or you hear word of mouth or something, there's not really a document after the fact that says this is what went on for this event, and hopefully that will help guide you guys for making decisions going forward on those special events. I apologize, I'm a horse. Apparently my lungs are as yellow as my car have been for the last couple of days. You know, so trying to get you as much information as we can to make the decisions on.
I appreciate that, and it's something to think about with that, the Star Wars, when it did, I think it was rainy that day.
It was.
So if we don't have much of an attendance, is there a time that we just cancel it instead of going through all the expense of
Right,
10 more
it's-
hours or
It's one of those
something.
things, and they probably need the perspective from the event organizer, but, you know, we have to staff it, you know, and there's a reason that 90 days out, because it takes the police department a while to figure out what we're gonna do. Malcolm has to make his plans, cause, you know, it's not just as much as closing the street and saying, okay, the street's closed, as we're having to deal with those issues on those secondary streets where we're centering traffic. You know, how do we get emergency vehicles in there once the event's closed down? You know, so there's a lot of information goes in there, and that helps with that 90-day window for us to be able to do that. But we really don't have the ability to cut it off if the attendance is not at a certain point, because you never know what that's gonna be. You know, so it's kind of difficult once I've got a crew here already, you know, prepared to work the event. Malcolm's already got a crew here prepared to close the street and be here to redirect traffic. You know, to just say at that point, okay, we don't have a whole lot of attendance, we just need to pull the plug on this and open the street up. It's just a difficult situation for us to be in, to try to make those decisions on the fly.
Yeah.
Mayor, we're
Try to
gonna,
make those prepared, educated, you know, decisions prior
and,
to.
and we're gonna get, as far as a staff, we'll internally get together and talk about the escalation. And I mean, a good thing as far as people coming here and special events and looking at alternatives, or, you know, what constitutes the road closure, and just sidewalks or parks, as Chief Rice is saying, and just looking very similar to where when we're having so many different runs, eventually, I know Public Safety or Chief Rice basically tailored it to a few different race routes, and those were the ones that were pre-approved by the board a couple years ago, I think, and those have worked really well. When they're not working, it's usually when someone comes in and wants to finagle a little bit or add a couple of variables to it, and just looking at the future of what we need to be doing, and how to maybe better predict the future in some of our events.
Okay.
Can I add one thing to that? I don't know if everybody realizes this, but one thing that we do have, I would call luxury, but we sell tickets. So we can cap our tickets at X amount of number, which kind of controls the amount of people that come, but there's always gonna be some that come without tickets. You know, so like, Chocolate Fest, for example, now that's spread over 2 days and 3 different time slots as that group. Olympics on Main, we capped it at 200, what we call ticket packs. So that equals on ticket sales, if it sells out, about 450. That's our estimate. 1.75 person per ticket pack. So I think last year we worked with the county police on Star Wars. They got, I believe the town gave us a number of ticket packs not to exceed for the first Star Wars. So there's flexibility on that as far as the number of tickets to sell, because I don't think our merchant group envisions none of these events turning into a Jonesborough Days of Storytelling. And generally speaking, that 300 to 500 number is kind of a sweet spot. You add 3 or 4 people, 100 people in town, it looks nice. So that's one thing that we can do, and with any suggestions from police or town, say, this event, we should cap it at X amount.
That Olympics on Main, is there activities that the kids are gonna be participating in, or people are gonna be, I mean, where are they gonna be doing these Olympic type events?
Storytelling Park.
Okay,
Mill Spring Park.
okay.
In the business center area.
That gets them off of Main Street, which helps some, yeah. Is that why you thought you didn't necessarily need to close Main Street for that, or?
Yeah, if I were voting for road closure, I would vote no on that one, but
Yeah.
I'm not the expert when it comes to
Yeah.
safety of people, so.
Okay.
The one issue that I particularly had with Olympics on Main was not necessarily what I saw on the 10th, but there's actually a blurb in there in the second page that says that the street will continue to stay closed for a movie on August the 9th. If that's an extension, then technically, and Jim probably have to answer that, by ordinance, that would require a second event, since it's on a separate day.
events should have been turned in April first to give us time. When they bring them in the last of the month or the next, 10 days before the board meeting, it's hard to get them out.
Yeah.
So we really should get them by the first day of the month prior to the 90 days. And if they come in on the second, we're sorry, you'll have to wait.
That town-wide yard sales, is that something the merchants participate in, with sidewalk sales and things like that, or where's this? A few. From my memories, right, that's when we had a lot of vehicles down here traveling. It seemed like people wanted to come in and check something out real fast, and it seemed like they was speeding a little bit during that yard sale out observed. That might be one, if the merchants are not participating in it, if it's not helping them, could something like that be moved to Lincoln Park or Persimmon Ridge Park or somewhere else where they got a place you can set up all the, I guess, tables, yeah, so. I think we deferred 1 and 2. Do we want to defer 3? Have me on a roll.
Yes, let's go ahead and move to defer.
Move to defer F3, motion to defer.
Second.
Second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Calderon.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Now we move into number 4. That's the special event application for Wizardly World of Jonesborough. I think that's a town event, right? Not Jamsa?
No.
Jamsa, yep.
Johnson.
All right, is that the same thing?
No, the insurance was included with this one, and it does appear to be in order.
Okay.
The only thing I have a concern, and it's nothing against the events, I want you guys to know that. I have nothing, because I do come down to them. But it's got where they're closing the street at First Avenue. First Avenue is one way coming down to Main Street. If they come from down Main Street, they're gonna have to turn left on First Avenue, and that's the wrong direction.
I can address that issue now with the changes of configuration of the traffic direction down there. We really don't have the ability to close at First Avenue anymore. Any Main Street closure that we're gonna have is gonna have to be at Second Avenue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yep, that would turn into a mess. All right, Alderman, what's your pleasure there? Is everything else in order?
You're on a street closure in that one, right? Oh, yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve this one with closure at Second Avenue instead of First Avenue.
All right, very good, Virginia. Got a motion to approve with that one change to Second Avenue.
Second.
Second from Alderman Countermine. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Calderon.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. All right, last item is discussion of possible action concerning approval of the 2024 to 25, I think, barn and lease, or is it 26?
26, Mayor.
Barn and land lease at the water plant property.
So moved.
Got a motion to approve from Alderman Causey,
Second.
second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Calderon.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. All right, that's a wrap. I like that our event